Hey there, YouTube land. And if you saw my last short video, then you know exactly what we're going to be talking about right now. So I got my tea ready. I'm going to sit back and we're going to basically talk about film, about the evolution of where we came, not just as film, not as cinema itself, but as collecting that cinema, as studying the cinema. I am huge. Movies are my passion. They're not just something I collect. They're not like just things that go on in the background here. I love the study of film in all its aspects, and I have since I was very, very young. It's something that kind of came naturally to me. It's something I was very interested in, and let's be honest, I have quite the passion for this for multiple genres, and just the way film is done in general, especially certain types of film. And but I'm not here to talk about me or how I do that right now, how I feel about that right now. Well, not in that type of terms. What I want to talk about is movie collecting and how we got here. Aside from back when VHS and CDs had just originally come on the scene, and if you don't know what CDs are, then definitely look them up. This is pre-VHS days we're talking about here, and they were big square things. You put them in, turn them over, not laser discs, but they were huge. Had amazing artwork on them, and I got to collect some. I really do. But what we're talking about right now is that we are in the golden age of film collecting. Everything has a time period, an era when you don't realize most of the time until afterwards that it's happened, that it's gone through. Comic books, when they came in, the golden age, the silver age of comics, people really didn't realize until after it was over. The modern age of like the modern, age of comics, kind of like what some like to call the platinum age, when the whole image, Spider-Man, the chromium cover, stuff like that. You knew there was something going on. There was kind of like a groundswell there, but not until it was really over, not until Wizard had gone away and you had the comics in the back, and hopefully it held on to some of them more than I did. But you didn't realize it till then. But here we are in the golden age of movie collecting. Things are happening now in films collecting that we never thought was possible. If you look behind me right now, the Halloween Blu-ray set with the producer's cut and all the movies from all the different companies, that's possible now. Zadiichi, a complete like samurai series. We're talking like 20 something movies. It's possible. It's possible to get a Russ Meyer box set with almost everything that he's done and a huge book. Thanks to companies like Scream Factory and Arrow, we're getting to see behind the scenes of movies that we never thought we were going to see. Documentaries, special features, bonuses, commentaries. Companies like Twilight Time are giving us incredible transfers with isolated tracks so we can study the scores of films, which, if you want to be in film, if you have ever wanted to make a movie, now is such an amazing time to look around you and study the stuff that's out there. There's a lot of stuff out there. I mean, you go to film school, you do like whatever you need to do. You watch all the movies you need to watch, but from Criterion to Anchor Bay to Grindhouse releasing to Cult Epics, to Vinegar Syndrome even, we have the chance to learn from every aspect of filmmaking, whether it be a B grade or a Z grade movie, right up to what could be considered a classic, top of the line A-lister type of film. And there was a time when we were lucky to get some of these films in shaky kind of pictures with the counter down the bottom, and now we're getting them in high def quality. We're getting some amazing stuff. We're getting a lot of incredible movies. The Jacques Demy set was a revelation for me to actually be able to see that. I had heard my better half talking about these films. I'd only ever seen like one or two of them, but she had described them so vividly, and I wanted to see them so badly, but I did not want to go online or get them anywhere like that. I had to see them. I had to like just have them and see them in like the best possible way I could, and Criterion did that for me. So Nightbreed, Clive Barker's classic, one of the ones that it's been written about, it's been talked about. There's been like crappy versions put out there with like all kinds of stuff just shoved in just to make a cabal cut, kind of like an almost a nonsensical cut because there's just too much in there and it's not edited. Have him come back and do the director's cut. It it was amazing. And how did we get to this place? How did we get to this spot that we have all this stuff right now at our fingertips, and it's almost overwhelming. It's almost insanely overwhelming what's going on. And it's pretty simple, actually. Through the dreaded enemy of the collector, the thing that we hate more than anything else, if you're a physical media collector, digital. And it seemed kind of strange. Why could digital, which seems to be taking stuff away from us, how can that help us as as movie collectors, movie watchers? Well, see, there was a time when pre-digital, everybody bought or rented movies. The casuals, as they like to call them, people that really aren't collectors running into, just want to like watch a movie, and they'll rent it. They would rented everything. So we had like times when like big times when Steven Seagal movies were pretty much rented like crazy, and just a lot of like the average drama, teen movies, and it went through different cycles of stuff that people would rent and buy. And at that time, things were expensive. Think back, when you first started buying DVDs, do you remember how expensive DVDs were? They were pretty freaking expensive. So here we are now. A lot of the casuals that just want to watch a movie, they got Netflix, they got Hulu. Yeah, some people even use Redbox. I totally disagree with Redbox, by the way. Uh, just take that one last personal aspect out of renting a film. No, I don't agree with that at all. Uh, but all that's gone away. So who's left to cater to? Who's still buying the movies? Who's still buying this stuff? Well, I'll tell you who's buying stuff. TV watchers are buying stuff because they want the sets, because they want to see behind the scenes, because they fanatically like their shows. I have 8 seasons of Supernatural. Do you know how many seasons of Supernatural I've actually seen? Maybe the first 4. And you know why? Because now I'm waiting till the series ends so I can watch them all together. But yet I go out and I buy Supernatural every year to get all of them. I'm behind on one actually. When Disney Treasures, an amazing tin set that became uber expensive later on down the road. When that first came out, was that the success that they had wanted it to be? Actually, no, not really. It was a seminal success. It wasn't the big hit that they had wanted at the time, and eventually, it went by the wayside, which is too bad because it really was well done and was just really, really nicely put together. So here they are now. Movies that are almost basically brand new. Your basic stuff, your dramas, your basic action, a lot of your low rent stuff, they're going right in the $5-10 bin at Walmart. They're going to the 488 bin on DVD and stuff like that. You're getting to see them for $7.88 on Blu-ray really fast and really easy. Companies still have to make money when it comes to this, and streaming is a great source of revenue. Here's my take on the whole streaming thing. I'm just got to give this right now. There are people out there that are content with streaming, and this is the definition of streaming, of like not owning anything physical. It's basically you're paying for the price over the price of what you would normally pay for something in a store and have a physical copy of that you own for something that you never own. You don't own any of the stuff that you have. I know you've got it. I got some stuff on iTunes. I got stuff that, digital copy stuff, but we don't own any of it. No, we don't own any of that. We have no real ownership. It's out there. It's in the cloud. We can access it now. If something happens, if that went down, if this company went under, if the rights were gone, we don't own it. It goes away. And it has happened with books before. And it has happened with movies. Just look at Wrong Turn 6. Something happened in there. All of a sudden, all those digital codes that you had for Wrong Turn 6, Useless. At least until they go and they snip that piece out, and then that's not the movie that you bought, is it? The movie that you bought on the disc there with the, that unrated cut with that extra scene, even though it doesn't might mean a lot to a lot of people, to a collector that does mean a lot. When you snap on that digital copy, you ain't getting that. That's gone. You've been censored. You don't own any of your stuff. Nothing that's digital. You own that physical copy, and with that physical copy, you can do what you want. If you don't like the movie, you make a new coaster. It's okay. You can put it on the wall. You can make art out of it. But it's yours. Yours to watch, yours to study, yours to explore, yours to enjoy, to just. And that's what happened when the casuals went away. The market that was still there had to be. It had to be studied. It had to be shown who was actually buying, who were the people that were sticking around that wanted stuff, who were the people that were buying the immensely expensive box sets, the stuff that were done like heads, the stuff that had pop out things on them, the stuff that was just weird and different and unique. And all you had to do was go back and look at the Anchor Bay releases of stuff like Evil Dead 2 and all that stuff, and realize that, hey, look, that niche genre, the horror genre, the horror subgenre, the canon films, the action films, and some of the teen films, the Marvel superhero films, stuff like that. A lot of that stuff, those were the people that were buying. Those were the people that were going out and getting each release. People that went out and bought every release of Saw. I mean, I'm not just talking about went and bought Saw 1 to 7. I mean, they went out. There's people that went out and they've bought every different version of and release of that film because they are collectors, and that's what they like to do. That's their movie. That's their genre. Me, Scream Factory, Arrow Video, Halloween. There's a good friend of mine out here. He collects, Steven. He collects Halloween in a lot of different ways. Andrew Bellina also is a big collector of that type of stuff. Oh, so many people just have the passion out there. Fantasy, horror, science fiction to a lesser extent, actually, but that'll come around again, I think. That's what we buy. We buy action figures. We buy the special box sets. We bitch and we moan. Me, particularly, and especially. And we still go out and buy the overpriced stuff that we know we gotta have. This year alone, proud additions of my collection. The dolls, early kind of pre-full moon type of film that I loved. Do you think I ever thought that was going to get a special, a high-def release anywhere? Never. I never even thought it was possible. At the most, I thought that might be on one of those 4 or 8 movie pack sets that you have for $5 or $10 with some crappy VHS transfer copy. But Dolls got a high def transfer copy with some great features. Pumpkinhead 2, and it is not Pumpkinhead 1, got an amazing release like that. And we're getting some great stuff. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, Nightbreed. I mean, no matter what edition of Nightbreed you got, you were a winner because you got an awesome film. You either got the director's cut or you lucked out and you got the ultimate cut like I did. Thank you for that, person. And again, for Fright Night, just Tinto Brass. There's those stuff like that you can't even begin to perceive that this stuff is going to come around. When the Halloween box set was announced, it was my better half. She's not into horror movies. She likes fantasy and she likes stuff like that. And I'm the horror movie guy. But even she knew what a huge deal getting a Halloween box set was. When we weren't sure that we could do it, even, she was preparing and making sure that the day that set came out, she knew that it was that important. That we were waiting. Before she went to work, we were waiting in front of the shop to get it because she didn't want to wait for me to have to get it from away. She knew there was one in the store. One. and we went early, waited in the cold, on her insistence, not mine, to get the Halloween box set when it came out, because she knew how big of a deal it was. How big of a deal it was for me, and how big of a deal it was to have, like the Zaichi set, which she surprised me with last Christmas. She knew, and like for me, with when I wanted to get her the Jack Demi set, Batman. Here was a series that was twisted up in so many different rights issues and legal issues. You thought the basically downloading it was the only way you're ever going to get any copies of this, and you'd see something like TV Time or like Sci-Fi or whatever stamped down in the bottom of it. Batman came out this year with an amazing edition. It's one of my pride and joys in my collection. Every year, the show The Walking Dead treats us to a new, outrageously amazing box set. We don't have to buy it. It's not. They don't push it on us. We are given choices. We are given a regular edition. We're given a Blu-ray edition. Sometimes we're given like an alternative edition, kind of like the key set that they had this year that did have the Alex Ross art on it. And then we're given the big tree zombie thing for people that are huge uber collectors like me that love the show and just want to have a piece of it. We're truly here, guys, right in the middle of the golden age of movie collecting, of the greatest time to be a collector. When you were growing up watching movies in the theater and just so stoked and so happy, and you couldn't wait to get to the next movie, or you went to the library just so you could like get books on films or get illustrated like history of Dracula, and there'd be like 2 or 3 chapters, and they'd talk about Vlad Tepes, and they'd talk about the book and Bram Stoker and all that, and you'd be like reading that, but you'd be skipping through and you'd be getting that part because you knew that chapter 6 or 7 was going to have Bela Lugosi, and it was going to have Christopher Lee, and it was going to have stills from there. And there would always be that still from Director Prince of Darkness because they just had some awesome stills from that film that would usually show up in these horror books. And as a kid, if you know what Scholastics is, it's like a sheet where you could like order books at and get them come when you were in like elementary school and for part of high school too as well. You could get books and books on film. I remember getting like this Disney pack, so I could read about like movies that I hadn't seen at the time that I'd been wanting to see, like Condor Man, the smartest, the computer that wore tennis shoes, something that I would later see, and just like imagining in my mind what this was going to be like, what this movie was going to be like when I saw it. Was going to reach the expectations? And a lot of times back then they didn't reach the expectations, but you had that, and it got that kernel starting in your head of fantasy and of imagination and of taking things from the page and making it come alive. And so many people that are in the film industry now, we started like that. I'm not in the film industry. Love to be, but that's kind of how you start. Something opens up that gate, that wave, that joyful, amazing imagination, and you create. And it's a drug and an addiction in the best way possible. So here we are right now. Blu-rays as the latest thing. But that being said, loyal DVD fans have stuck with the format. People have been bringing back VHS recently in like limited collector's editions. We've seen we've seen on the kind of the so we have records kind of making a comeback. I got a record player myself. That's my preferred way to listen to music. Just ask Nathan. He knows all about that. Here we are, right now. You can watch a movie on Netflix, and there's nothing wrong with that. Checking out a film or something on Hulu that you want to get, but this is the time. This is the era that you will be you'll be telling other people about, telling your kids about. You'll be telling other people that have started collecting, or however collecting goes in the future. And you're living it. You're living through the golden age of film collecting. Look around you. Look at all the stuff. If you're watching this, 9 chances out of 10, you love movies probably just as much as me. Well, almost as much as me. And we're so lucky. We're so lucky to look around and see all the stuff and all the possibilities that are out there. I went online a couple nights ago looking at some Australian site, and we had such amazing stuff. And you realize when you start to go region free, you're, the inevitable ways you can go with your collection, it gets even more amazing. And we'll talk about that sometime. We'll talk about like going region free. We'll do that. We'll take some time, sit down, we'll talk about it. Maybe we'll do it on one of my sons over here, and we can actually just get here and talk about some different topics, some stuff that I want to talk about. Well, I want to do another one of those videos, but live it, enjoy it, embrace it. This is the golden age of movie collecting. This is the best time ever to be a movie collector since the early days of VHS when we were doing tape trading. And I know a lot of you guys aren't old enough to remember tape trading, but it was a fantastic time when you found movies in shitty quality that just amazed you because you were lucky enough to find it. And now I go to the store, or I open up a magazine, or I look online, and I'm amazed every day when something else from my childhood that I never ever thought was going to get a release is getting some special edition release. American Ninja. I loved the American Ninja movies when I was, in college and stuff. And here they are. They're getting a set. They're getting American Ninja set. Hellraiser is getting a set from Arrow, man. And Arrow puts out some awesome stuff. So if you have been digging the Arrow stuff, man, check it out. Thanks from me to you for watching this video. And please do comment down below. This is something I feel really passionate about. Do you feel this is our golden age of collecting? You think we've gotten there, that we've reached a spot, kind of the sweet spot, that with so many options that are open to us now that have never been open before. And yeah, there's so much out there that hasn't made it to DVD or Blu-ray or whatever. But we're so much more aware of what hasn't made it, because we're surrounded by things that we never thought would. It's time for me to say goodnight to the giant lobster head in the sky up there, have my tea, and go to bed because TGIF. Have a great one. And for me right now, guys, it's time for tea. And it's time to bask in the golden age of movie collecting. I hope you agree.